You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
In honor of Black History Month, WURD, in collaboration with First World Theater, presents Diamonds of the Diaspora, Black political figures and influencers in their own words. Edward Brooke, an alumnus of Howard University, was the first African-American elected Attorney General of any state and the first African-American popularly re-elected to the U.S. Senate, where he served 2 terms. This Republican senator was passionate about fair housing. According to the Washington Post, he sponsored the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which prohibited discrimination based on race, color, religion, or ethnicity, and later introduced the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which allowed women to obtain credit independently of their husbands. April 10th, 1968, Senator Brooks spoke these words at the B'nai B'rith Humanitarian Awards dinner.
Exactly what can be done and how soon to achieve the harmonious integration of our Negro brothers into the general social structure. In its essential respect, I believe the agenda has already been written. Discrimination in housing has denied most Negroes access to decent homes and provided slumlords with essential captive market that has driven up the prices for an inferior housing available to the Negro residents. De facto residential segregation has thrown disproportionate numbers of underprivileged and culturally deprived children into urban schools ill-equipped to educate them. Poorly motivating and lacking encouragement from their peers or parents, these children bring little to their education and take little from it. While the cycle has repeated itself countless times in the Negro ghettos of central cities, the white middle class has been gravitating to the suburbs, eroding the city's tax base at the very time the urban core is experiencing increased demand for public services. This is a cycle which distinguishes the new ghetto from the old. The old ghetto thrived on hope. The new ghetto drowns on despair.
That's a speech by Edward Brooke, performed by Anthony Cooper of First World Theater. This Black History Month, we recognize the work and the political influence of Senator Edward Brooke. This Black History Month vignette was brought to you by Comcast, the Free Library of Philadelphia, and Bristol Riverside Theater. We are the home of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Well, here we are, Monday, February 26th. Do you believe it? I don't. I absolutely do not believe we are already at the end of the month. We're knocking on March's door. What? I feel like we just said Happy New Year. As a matter of fact, I think I'm still saying Happy New Year, to be honest with you, because it's going by so quickly. But at the core of it all, I'm happy to be able to say Happy New Year and to have another day, another minute, another moment, and another second to do so. Yes, I am. So, family, you know where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with our Black History Month recognition, continuing our Black History Month recognition. Today's Black History moment is about Trayvon Martin. Yes, it is. On this day, February 26th in 2012, Trayvon Martin, an African-American teen, was walking home from a trip to a convenience store and was fatally shot by George Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch volunteer patrolling the townhouse community of the Retreat at Twin Lakes in Sanford, Florida. Zimmerman later claimed to have shot the unarmed 17-year-old out of self-defense during a physical altercation. On April 11th, 2012, following weeks of demonstrations, a special prosecutor appointed by Florida's governor charged Zimmerman with second-degree murder, who was later found not guilty. And in November of 2013, the city of Sanford announced new rules forbidding volunteers in its neighborhood watch program from carrying guns and pursuing suspects. Trayvon Martin's death set off nationwide protests like the Million Hoodie March. Family, today we recognize the loss and we celebrate the life of Trayvon Martin in today's Black History moment. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, family, if you are joining us by way of socials, share a comment with us. Send us a hello or, some love via our socials. Any way you care to share it, we appreciate it. You can even give us a call. Yes, you can. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can even call us toll free. You can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900. Don't you think I forgot about you, love bugs? All of you who are celebrating a birthday on today, or if you celebrated over the weekend. To that point, family, I like to know what's going on in your lives. Let me know how your weekend was. Let me know what you did. Even if you stared at the wall, let me know that too, because I want to know. I'm asking. But happy birthday to all of our love bugs celebrating a birthday. Absolutely. Absolutely. And to you, family, if your heart is heavy today, extra love and hugs is what I am sending your way on behalf of your entire tribe and village right here, just so that you know that you are not alone. You hear me? You don't have to do this by yourself. You are not alone. We are right here. Okay. Sending oodles of love to one of our love bugs, especially Chip, who is navigating the loss of a loved one today. So Chip, sending you some extra love and prayers today, just letting you know that you are not alone. All right. I see some of our family members are checking in. Nasir Butler is sending peace and blessings to the family. And we so appreciate it. Hey, Nasir, how you doing? What did you do this weekend? I know you always have something on that calendar of yours. So let us know. Tell me what you did. What'd you do? Malcolm White is checking in as well. And he shares that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy. There's my message. I look for it all the time. He sends a good evening to the entire family. And we send a good evening right back to you, Malcolm. Thank you so much. Eric is checking in. That's Just Rick. He shares, hey, Carol, I see you. Oh, you see me? Oh, with all the red today. It's a red day. Yeah. How was my weekend? I had a good weekend. I know what you did, though. You went to see, is it Elliot? How do you pronounce it? Yamin or Yamin? I'm not sure. I don't know. And I don't want to be wrong. But I want to know all about that. I want to know how good the concert was. I know it was good. But I want to hear you say it. And Walt Reader Jr. is checking in. Hey, Walt. Walt shares, hey, Sister Carol. I'm tuned in to this well-produced and informative show. Good. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So the red is being appreciated today, I see, because Walt shares that I'm representing Love Month well. So good. The red is making an impact. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I pulled out all my red today. Eric shares that his weekend was phenomenal. Good, good, good. He went to see the incredible Gerald Beasley and Elliot Yamin perform. He said it was an excellent show. I know it was. I know it was. Ooh, with our beloveds. And Darren is checking in. Hey, Smitty. He sends a hello to the family and friends. And we send it right back to you. Nasir, I like that. Nasir shares that he's taking a music class. Now, you know, that's right up my alley. I love it. I love it. So, family. All right, here we are. Here we are. For those of you, once again, if you want to call, feel free to do so, 215-634-8065, or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Before we get started, I do have one thing that I want to share with you. Now, I've been saying this to you every show. I've been saying it to you, I think, for the past few weeks. And guess what? I'm going to say it until this month ends. As you know, the month of February is the month of love. Well, Word has an exclusive new collection for this month only. Okay. Our I Love Word collection features a t-shirt, stemless wine glass, a hoodie, water bottle, coffee mug, and also a tote bag. And guess what, family? If you are a member, then you can get these brand new items for 50% off in our Word shop. That's right. So join or renew right now so you can get your code via email. All you have to do is go to wordradio.com or /I love words. You can start shopping right now and show your love for your favorite radio station. Family, that is wordradio.com /ILUVWURD. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that easy. Yes, it is. All right, family, let's get started. So we had a conversation a few weeks ago, actually it was, and we talked about prostate cancer. We kind of we briefly touched on it. I will say we didn't dig too deeply into it, but one of our family members reached out and said, Carol, I have a story that needs to be shared. And when he reached out to me, I was so touched because so many of our Black men are not as vocal about health at all. So it really, really spoke to me when he said, I want to share because I want to talk to our brothers. I want to talk to our family. And I just want to open the conversation even wider and further so that we, can start doing what we need to do to stay healthy, to get healthy and to stay healthy. And I so appreciated him doing that. So in doing so, he's brought someone with him. And I'm going to let them tell you how that conversation happened and how they came together. But what I will share is that Muhammad Abdur-Rahim is the one and only person that approached me and said, I have got to tell my story. Do you hear me? I've got to do so. He is a former law enforcement officer who served the citizens of Philadelphia for 41 years before retiring in 2016. During his tenure, he was a member of special elite units such as the Stakeout SWAT units. I believe we're going to ask him about that. And he also worked the undercover plainclothes robbery detail. So much that he has to share outside of that. He brought with him Jeff Mason, who is a 39-year veteran of combined law enforcement and public safety. He started his career in law enforcement in 1985. Jeff also worked in several specialized units, inclusive of narcotics and highway patrol, and he eventually became a sergeant. Family, I invite you to the conversation with both Muhammad Abdur-Rahim and Jeff Mason. Well, hello, gentlemen. Hello, and welcome.
Hello, Carol, everyone. Jeff.
Hi, Carol. Hey, Muhammad. How are you?
Okay, great.
Good.
Glad everybody had a chance to jump on board. Very important information being shared tonight.
How about that? First, let me say thank you to you, Muhammad, because you reached out to me. And like I was saying, I so appreciate that because so many of our men don't talk about health. We listen. There are a lot of women that don't talk about it, but there are so many more men that I know that don't talk about health at all. So when you reached out to me, it just meant so much that you were willing to be transparent and share and helpful, because that spoke to me too. When you said, look, I want to help somebody, I know that my story can help somebody. And that meant so much to me. And then Jeff, you reached out to me too. And then you two told me, yeah. We've been talking. So what I would like first is for you individually to just tell our family members a little more about you individually.
Muhammad, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. So, like Carol was saying, I'm a 39-year veteran of combined law enforcement and public safety. And I did start in 1985 under a consent decree, which was enacted, and a federal jury awarded the Guardian Civic League, who championed for that, to get more minority police officers to represent the community that is served. And I joined and haven't looked back since, because it was the best experience that I could have had. Pretty much I was in my 20s, and I pretty much grew up in the department, and had a lot of mentors, Muhammad being one. Oh my God, back then it was different presidents of the Guardian Civic League. You had different commanders. You had the first Black police chief, Willie Williams, who I cherish his mentorship as well, and other commanders after that, minority commanders. But since then, I retired after doing 22 years in Philadelphia Police Department. Then I moved to Miami to work in Miami Gardens Police Department, and did another, from 2007 to 2014. And you mentioned Trayvon Martin's story. So part of my sector was covering the church that he and his mother attended, which was Antioch Missionary Church in Miami Gardens. So during the release of one service one Sunday, I'm watching the people come out, exit the church, and I hear what I later learned to be was Trayvon's mom saying, "Trayvon, get back here." Right? And then a few years later, this tragic thing happened to him. So, it was quite alarming to me, to have ran into my video went out again, but my experiences in meeting him and just witnessing him prior to his demise, was very very heart-wrenching, but I left Miami Gardens in 2014 and became part of security and public safety at one of the local colleges in Florida, and then moved 2019 to Atlanta, Georgia, and where I met my beautiful wife, and we've been married since 2022, and we just celebrated our anniversary last December. While I was in Florida, I earned a master's degree in leadership, because I believe in learning the best practices of if you specialize in a certain field, you should get education to complement your experience, so that way you can inspire others to be their best self. So I'm very very fond of leadership principles, very fond of people reaching back and bringing people up to the level where they're supposed to be in life. And that's where leadership is important. I'm also a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. I'm also Prince Austrian Scepter Mason. And in my spare time, I find enjoyment in mentoring, working out, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And here we are with the prostate cancer series. Go ahead, Muhammad.
Yeah, my name is Muhammad Abdur-Rahim. I thank everyone for coming on. So, like Jeff, I started out my police career when I was 20 years of age. And I became a police officer for this reason. I faced racism. I'm from South Philadelphia, like Carol. I know Carol's relatives who are in law enforcement, and I played a ball with her relative, Charlie Riddick, and another relative, Lawrence Riddick. So I know many Riddicks. So this is me coming on is also addressed for them. Also, too, they are my friends. They're my family. So I went to the. I'm sorry. I faced racism in South Philadelphia, and I'm gonna give you a quick story. And in South Philadelphia, there was many gangs when I was coming up.
Wait. You know what? I don't want to interrupt this story. And I'm looking at the time. We're going to take a short commercial break. I want you to say this story without interruption.
I got you.
Give me one moment. Family, hi there. Welcome. If you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are digging deep tonight, and we're having a very open and honest conversation tonight. At this moment, what we're going to do is take just a short commercial break. Know that the phone lines are open, and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. Stay with us, though, because we will be right back.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a 4Word member with the annual membership price of just $90 or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a 4Word member, sign up, family member, or a friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your 4Word membership today. Visit wordradio.com/4word or wordradio.com/membership.
For more than a decade, Comcast has been committed to bridging the digital divide in Philadelphia and across the country. From connecting people to the internet to opening doors for the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and storytellers, they are helping to create a future that benefits generations to come. Now, Comcast is expanding their efforts through Project Up, their comprehensive initiative to help build a future of unlimited possibilities. Backed by a $1 billion commitment to reach tens of millions of people over the next decade, Comcast is working to ensure all Philadelphians have the skills, resources, and opportunities they need to participate and excel in an increasingly digital world. This includes partnering with community experts to build a network of digital navigators, trusted individuals who help build awareness around initiatives like the government's Affordable Connectivity Program and teach critical digital skills to get more people online. Project Up, building a future of unlimited possibilities. Learn more at comcast.com/Project Up.
Through Project Up, Comcast is committing $1 billion to build a future of unlimited possibilities.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking tonight with Muhammad Abdur-Rahim and with Jeff Mason. We came together tonight just to have a vulnerable, unapologetic, honest conversation tonight. And before the break, I did interrupt Muhammad because I told him once he starts his story, I don't want to interrupt him when he starts it. So I wanted to get the commercial out of the way. I do want to share that Drina is checking in. She's watching from the sweetest sides of Detroit, Michigan. She shares. Diane Hamilton Mitchell shares greetings, and she is sharing love. Willie is joining us as well. Hi, my love. Viola. Hi, Miss Viola. Our beloved is joining us as well. And Jessie Lane Powell. Hi, beautiful. She shares powerful show, informative and transparent. I so love that. Thank you so much. Eric, I see that you have made a comment. Eric shares, good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for your dedicated service and welcome to the Word platform. Who or what actually motivated you both to get into your line of work at the young age of 20? Eric, I'm going to hold your question because I do want Muhammad to share the story that he started before the commercial break. Muhammad.
So what do you want me to pick up to tell my story?
Yes, please.
Okay. The story about my health, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Well, no. You started the story before the commercial break. You experienced racism, is that?
Oh, yes. I became a police officer because what happened is that this is a true story. I grew up in South Philadelphia. There was many gangs, 10 blocks this way, 10 blocks that way. So as a 13-year-old kid, I used to walk to 19th and Pine Street Pizza, get a pizza, and go to Rittenhouse Square on a bench by myself and eat a piece of pizza. It was there that I faced racism the first time from a police officer. Is that a uniformed police officer was the B cop at Rittenhouse Square, asked me what I was doing. I said, I mean a piece of pizza, officer. He says to me, out the park, your kind isn't allowed here. Kicked me out the park. That's very devastating, and I never forgot that. The second thing is, there's a particular area in South Philadelphia where I lived, near the South Street Bridge, from 26th to South all the way up to 23rd Street, down Graceful Avenue to Christian down to Schuylkill to the bridge. It was called the Pocket. Anything of color moving through there, he's going to get jumped, and it wasn't fair. We were coming back from an ABA All-Star game over the South Street Bridge, me and my friends, the youth, walking over the bridge. So coming back east off the bridge, and grown men coming out of cars with baseball bats, tire irons, calling us the N-word. So we couldn't fight against that. So the first time I heard a gunshot in my life, I ran east on South Street to 23rd and South, out of breath. And I said, officer. I said, someone's shooting at us. This guy looked at me. He just happened to be Caucasian. And he turned red in the face. He says, you no good N. He smacked me in my mouth, locked me and all my friends up who were good kids playing basketball. And back in the day, they had a paddy wagon. You look out the back, and the guys who attacked us, they took them home. They knew them. That stuck with me. So I said to myself, I used to hate police first, and then I became wiser. I said, you know what? I want to become a police officer and be better. I want to, treat people the way I want somebody to treat my family member. That is why I became a police officer.
Wow.
So,
to effect change.
Yes, and what happens is that when I became a police officer, Afro-Americans couldn't work together. Remember that, Jeff? We couldn't work together when we first started 20 years old. You could not work together.
What do you mean could not work together?
They would not. If me and Jeff were in the 18th district, they would not put me and Jeff together working together. That's a fact. There was a lot of racism going back then, Carol. Going back in 1974.
Yes.
74. We started when we were 20. We were kids, So anyway, so from there I became a police officer at 18th district, and from there I went to stakeout or SWAT, and I did the undercover robbery detail stakeout with the bank details. My partner played a granny, old man, insurance person. He'd go to neighborhoods, get robbed, where they were doing computer printouts, so maybe 20 people get robbed between 6 and 2. I was just backup along with 2 other partners, and he would put his life on the line to get robbed, and we would arrest the perpetrators. And we used no radios, no hand signals, eyesight. And we did that, banks and also taxi cab details. They were shooting cab drivers. We did that. And then from there, I moved from stakeout. I went to Police Athletic League. And it was there, it was very rewarding, where I was on the other side of prevention of working with youth between 10 and 18. So I worked in 2 different PAL centers. One was Crummage PAL, Watson, Susquehanna, and North Penn PAL at 27th and Haggard. I did that there for 8 years. From there, I left and went to the, let me see, did I go to the pistol range there? Yeah, I went to the pistol range as an instructor. I'm with firearms training unit as a police firearms instructor, where I taught police officers and recruits the safe use and handling of firearms, various firearms. And then on there, I was on the combat pistol team, where I learned my skill, crafted it, and I shot with the best shooters in the country. I was on the combat pistol team, actually shooting the Secret Service matches in Beltsville, Maryland, Jackson, Mississippi, national championships, and I was on the governor's top 20 shooters in the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
For the 4 years I competed. I'm not bragging, I'm just using an example of what I learned. I learned from the best shooters. So after that, when I left the range, I went, a person that I knew, he was the lieutenant commanding officer of ballistics, firearm identification unit. And we won a pistol team together. He was lieutenant. He said, Muhammad, I got a spot for you. I thought he was joking. And then I went into firearm identification unit as a ballistics. It was a 3-year training program, matching bullets and fire cartridge cases to guns and crimes. I did that for 8 years. And from there, I went as a security bodyguard and security guy for Mayor John Street. I was security for 8 years out of City Hall with him and his family. Anywhere him and his family traveled, anywhere in the country, I was with him and his family, protected them for 8 years. And after that, I went to organized crime or homeland security counterterrorism. I did that for a few years, and I was on a major incident response team dealing with biological, chemical, and terroristic things, and also hostage negotiations, stuff like that. And after that, I went to airport police unit, and I did that until I finished my career. And I want to say is that through all those places that I've been, there have been men who have had prostate cancer. Now, here's my story.
I want to know how you two met, how you two came together first. How did you two come together?
I can share. Yeah, I can tell. So when I came on in 85, Muhammad was at the range, which is the firearms training range up at the police academy up on State Road. And you see how he looks now. He looks very intimidating right now, right? So.
Oh my God! Sorry, Carol.
So as a recruit, you're looking around. You're new with firearms, and I hope you're new with firearms. But you have mostly Caucasian trainers there, and you have this one particular individual, Muhammad, right? And he's very quiet. His demeanor is very, very, very intimidating. So while I'm shooting my weapon, and we had revolvers back then, we had 6 shooters, right? Smith & Wesson. So he's watching me, right? He comes over to me and he whispers in my ear very kindly and gently and says, listen, concentrate on that front sight. The target should be blurry. Look through the rear sight, concentrate, and squeeze. The gunshot should be a surprise to you. I improved my shooting just then. So the words of a gentle giant is what I call him. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you think he's coming over to either yell at you, because most of the trainers would yell at you, and then you become worse. Shaking, because the best advice to give is in a calm manner, and that's what Muhammad did. That's how we met, and ever since then, different occasions we would run into each other. But I had a lot of respect for him then. You know what I mean? Never just cover, about how they look, number one.
How about that?
And number 2 is to always take good advice from people who know what they're doing. And Muhammad knew exactly what he was doing. But that's how we first met. He didn't know that. This is the first time he's hearing that. But,
Yep. First time.
I'm sure other officers, if they're listening or not, could relate to what I'm talking about with Muhammad.
Okay. Well, what I want to do, thank you for that, Jeff. Before we begin to talk, before you share your stories with prostate cancer, I do want to go back to Eric's question. He asked who or actually what motivated you both to get into your line of work at such a young age?
Go ahead, Mama.
I think I answered already. Reference to
the
racism in my face. So go ahead, Jeff.
Right. So for me, I was actually at Temple University, as a matter of fact. Still living at home, with mom. I'm not ashamed of that, but I already been in the military. I was in the Navy, did 3 years active, and I was in reserves after that. And my position in the Navy was a hospital corpsman. So I always got into a service related industry because I believe in helping people. That's how we are blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I pledged a fraternity, and my mom wasn't really set on continuing college at all.
Okay.
So my mom knew that. Mothers know their children. So I there was a hiring wave in 1983 or two, and it took a while because the Guardian Civic League hosted this hiring wave
Mm-hmm.
to get more minorities into the police department. Right? I took the test, and because I was a veteran, I got 10 points veterans preference. Right? So I scored kind of high. So the first notice I got to take to to enter the police academy, I threw it away.
Oh wow.
Right? Because I
Okay.
said, okay, I do want to be a cop, but then again, I don't want to be a cop. Right? So
Right. Right.
the second notice, my mom filled it out for me and sent it in. Me
Oh
not knowing.
wow.
So then I got
Oh.
a notice to start training in June 24th, 1985. Everybody remembers that start date, right? So I was in class 264, and I met a lot of good people, especially from West Philly. Dave Van,
Yep.
Carl Kears, guys that Maurice Muhammad knows, and Myron Patterson. We were all in the
Mm-hmm.
same class. Um, and I'm naming people that have been very significant in
In
my
your
growth
journey.
as well.
Right.
So I met all these people up in the academy, and but at that age in my 20s, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something to help people.
Okay.
I didn't have the experiences that Muhammad had as far as interactions with police officers, but um, I witnessed a lot of injustices
Mm-hmm.
at a young age because I always believe in fairness and treating people the way they should be treated, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
color their skin they are. Because personally, I have friends, and when you're a police officer, you develop bonds that are strong with
Sure.
other policemen.
You were
And
sharing that with me offline. You were sharing that.
right,
You said it's a
right.
family. When you become a police officer, you're family. So what
So
you were sharing with us, and I'm sorry because I'm looking at the time and we're going to go to commercial break in just a moment or so, but I want to make sure I have the understanding thus far of what you were sharing. So it was at the nudge of your mother.
yes,
Initially, it was at the
yes,
nudge of your mother, but at the root of it all, it's because of your dedication to service.
that part.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. I
ma'am.
wanted to make sure I
Yep.
had it, had it right and I was, getting it together. I'd want to share family. We're going to go to commercial break in a moment, not just yet, but when we come back from commercial break, we're going to get into these incredible stories of these gentlemen and what has taken place. Before we go to commercial break, though, I do want to share that our beloved Rosalind, hi there, Miss Rosalind. She's sending love to everybody, and we receive it, and we send it right back to you. She's sending us our flowers as well. Gary Bryant is checking in. Hey, Gary, brother Gary. He's sending peace and blessings to everybody. And Joanne Thomas shares, wow, I came on the job in 1987 in the 16th district. She shares, Muhammad, I remember you. And hey, Jeff, I hope all is well. Joanne shares, we sure did. I had a 357 Magnum, right? I know that's right. I know that's right. Our beloved Miss Rosalind shares, I came up with the 17th and 18th police district, 17th in Montgomery in 1974. And she shares they were very prejudiced, and we knew all the officers in our community. Our beloved Miss Lily is joining us as well and is sharing love. And Gary follows up by sharing that racism is real and it still exists in this town. He shares that we live in the city of Philadelphia, located in the state of Pennsylvania. Let me tell you, I'm going to put that in my pocket. Okay. I'm going to have to put that in my pocket. Malcolm, he shares that he almost joined the police force back in 1987. He took the exam, he passed it, and he got called for the physiological exam. He passed it, And when he got called up for SEPTA, he's glad that he did that because he dealt with enough racism in the military. And then, you shared that with us. Yeah, I remember you sharing that. Harry is joining us. Hello there. And Malcolm shares that he's anxious to hear your stories because he's currently dealing with the early signs of prostate cancer. So we're looking forward to that conversation. Harry, thank you for the compliment. I was about to say the conversation, the compliment. Ms. Roslyn shares, mother knows best, Jeff. From that nudge from your mother. And Eric shares a thank you for sharing your truths. Thank you. Many people of several races cannot actually believe these atrocious scenarios actually happen. You can't believe it. Harold is joining us. Hi there, Harold. Hi there. Great to have you. And the beloved Joanne Dorman is joining us as well. Family, we are going to commercial break, but when we come back, we're digging even deeper. Okay, so stay with us because we'll be right back.
Tune into Word Radio this Thursday at 10 a.m. for City Council Live, hosted by Ernest Owens. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
Hello?
Man, where are you? This wedding is lit. I thought you were coming.
Ooh, I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? You didn't get a flu shot?
I wish I did. I can't believe I'm missing out on Greg's wedding.
Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf.
Grandma's about to what? What?
Man, I'll call you back.
Oh, man.
Sounds like another case of flu FOMO. Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. It keeps you protected and also protects your loved ones. Protecting our community can't wait. So why get stuck inside with the flu? Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
How deep is your love? How deep is your love?
February is a month of love, and Word has an exclusive new collection for this month only. Our I Love Word line features a t-shirt, stemless wine glass, hoodie, water bottle, coffee mug, and a tote bag. And guess what? If you're a member, then you can get those brand new items for 50% off in our Word shop. Join or renew to get your discount code via email. Go to wordradio.com/ILoveWord to start shopping now and show your love for your favorite radio station. That's wordradio.com/ILUVWURD.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with Muhammad, Abdur-Rahim, and Jeff Mason. And tonight's episode is dedicated to the conversation about prostate cancer. I'm going to ask you, Muhammad, if you wouldn't mind sharing your story with us first, and then
Yes.
Jeff, if you wouldn't mind following.
Yes, my pleasure. I just want to start off with stating that Afro-American men have the highest incidence of prostate cancer and reoccurrence in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I'm coming on tonight is because we take this lightly. As men coming up, especially Black men coming in the community, we're taught from a very young age, man up, don't get your emotions, don't cry, don't say nothing. This is the biggest hindrance to us sharing information. So when I'm going to tell you this story, it's going to shock you. So here we go. How about this story? How about 12 members of my family were diagnosed with prostate cancer? How about 9 members of my family died of prostate cancer? How about me, my brother, and my father's youngest brother were only one still alive on his side of the family, even though I have family members on the other side. I'm a Montague. We have a big family, so I have a lot of men, cousins on the other side. But here's what happens with men. Most of the time, men go to the doctor when there's an issue. Unlike women, when they have menses from a very young age, they're taught by their mothers, grandmothers, aunts to take care of their health, and they share and they talk amongst each other. Men don't do that. We taught to man up. I'm coming tonight to tell you have to share, because sharing is caring, and by you sharing your story, you're going to help someone else who's going through it. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I was all alone. So give you an example. If you have one member in your family that has prostate cancer, you have to get yourself checked, because there's a likelihood that other members of the family may have it. So I was going, because I had 12 members altogether, right? My uncle was diagnosed later and my brother was diagnosed later, but right now it was 12. So I have a large family thing of prostate cancer in the family. So I was going every 6 months to get checked from Fox Chase Cancer Center. Now here's what men don't do. Now I went to urologist first. I'm sorry, urologist. So here's what most African-American men do. They get a PSA, protein-specific antigen blood test, and then that's it. You need both. You need the protein-specific antigen PSA test and the digital rectal exam, where a doctor takes a latex finger, he sticks it in your rectum and feels for the prostate. When you're 20 years old, your prostate is like a little walnut, and the older you get, it gets larger. So what happens is that most males, if you live long enough, you're going to have problems with prostate. Don't mean cancer. It's going to be enlarged, inflamed, a benign tumor, or cancerous tumor. And I'm going to tell you this, men, we all let our egos get in the way. And this is what happens. So now, I told you I have a family history. So now I was going every 6 months. So when I had my first baseline, I was 0.4. I supposed to go back 6 months later? No, I get cocky. I'm all right. I go back 12 months later, and let me start with saying this. If your numbers are 4 or above, there's an issue with the prostate. Don't mean cancer. There's an issue. So now let's get back to, I was a 1.2, way below the radar. But my doctor, urologist, says, Muhammad, you're not, and he also did the digital rectal exam. He says, doesn't feel mushy, everything feels fine, but because your numbers tripled, let me give you a biopsy. Okay, at the time I was on Mayor Street security detail, so I happened to call the urologist, my doctor. He wasn't there, but guess how I found out? One of his nurses said, oh, you got prostate cancer over the phone. Over the phone while they at work, they even called me in. So this is a true story. That's what happened. That's unprofessionalism, right?
What?
So yeah, that's what happened to me. So anyway, so I was devastated because you automatically think you're going to die, and then you got to do your own research. What they happened, they gave me a bone scan, CAT scan, to determine whether did the cancer get outside of the body. So here's what happens. They gave me a bone scan, CAT scan. So fortunately, and then lymph nodes, I was a candidate for radiation or the operation. Now, take you back a second. A lot of Afro-American men back in the day, they were radiated down below the belt and it killed everything. So here's what happens. So a lot of men, if they married a girlfriend, whatever, they couldn't have a sexual relationship with their significant other. They would have incontinence. So men, thinking like men, they rather have a relationship than to have that situation. But they didn't know prostate cancer feeds off the male sex hormone, testosterone. It feeds off of that. They didn't know this a lot. And then, of course, men don't share. They don't talk. So everybody put their own individual battles.
Wait, I have a question for you, Muhammad. Yeah. Well, at what age were you aware that there was a history of prostate cancer in your family?
When I had my issue in 2005. Well, let me see. Hold a second. No, because my two uncles, I had two uncles that had they were terminally ill, terminal prostate cancer, and they had to castrate them chemically because, as I said, because the cancer feeds off the sex hormone testosterone. So in order to stop it from growing, they have to kill it. So they had to castrate them so it wouldn't spread. So what happens is that prostate cancer is supposed to be, they say, it's the slowest growing cancer if you catch it early. Early detection is the key. But when my uncles went, because it also has to do with social economic issues where they might not have insurance, they might not have the money to get the best doctor. So they suffer that, you know. So the thing about it, when it goes outside of the capsule, it goes to the bones and it goes to the organs. So I used to visit my two uncles in hospice when the nurses would turn them over because, keep them having bed sores, their bones would be breaking. It's very painful experience to see them suffer like that. So as I said, I had 12 members, my grandfather had it, two uncles. I have a father and son who my cousins both died from prostate cancer. So now I'm going to tell you another story. So then here's what happened. So now I became a candidate for the operation or the radiation. So I went to Fox Chase Cancer Center. Each one has its own, you have an option. They don't tell you what to do unless they tell you you're going to die, you need chemo. So I listened to one doctor with the radiation, and now in 2005 they have the 3D IMRT where you go to 7.5 weeks and they pinpoint a laser-like radiation to the prostate gland. For me, the thing was you have on the prostate bed, right and left side, right. When they hit you, your PSA level still won't be high. So what happens when I was diagnosed? Example, I was diagnosed, right? I was diagnosed.
At what age were you when you were diagnosed? I'm sorry. At what age were you?
2005. I'm 70 right now.
Okay.
I'm 70 right now. So it was in 2005. So I'm 19 years. They say undetectable. You never say cancer free. Undetectable. Long as it's below 0.1, it's undetectable. They give you 5-year survival rates, and they say I should be good, but the creator's the only one who knows that. So anyway, I'm just thankful for every day. So when I was diagnosed, and then I went to Fox Chase Cancer Center, and I went to there, and I saw the best doctor at the time, Dr. Richard Greenberg. He was the top oncologist, chief oncologist. He did 35 years of nothing but prostate cancer. So when I went there, I didn't like his bedside manner. And of course, man, we got our egos getting in the way. I said, I ain't going to him. I got home and said, Muhammad, put your ego aside. He's the best qualified, the best decision I made. So I went back to him, and he operated on me. So when he operated on me, what he did was, when he took it out, they tested, I think Indian ink and something else for like 24 hours. And they already had tested my lymph nodes, so I was okay. So when listen to this, Carol. So when they tested me for the stage of a stage 2 cancer with a normal reading. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
You hear what I just said?
How is that even possible? How is that possible?
It's possible. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm gonna get to it in a second. So think about this: 0.4, way below baseline. Way below 4.
Right.
12 months later, 1.2, way below. All my urologists say, "Good, Muhammad, you're good."
Right.
When I finally got tested, when he gave me a biopsy, it came back cancer. They look at the cancer cells and they give it a number called the Gleason score that shows their aggressiveness. And it's 2 numbers. So mine's with a 3 and a 3, which is a 6, intermediate. So that means it's not coming outside the capsule. Now, when they operated, we took it out, they determined everything was contained, but you got billions of cells. So what happens is, Carol, is that they give you 5-year survival increments. So give you an example. Say I'm good for 5 years, or somebody's good for 5 years, and then all of a sudden they go get the PSA test, and the PSA level is high. That means only a prostate gland cancer cell can produce that. It went somewhere in the body, lay dormant to an organ, bladder or something like that, and then it comes back and flu. That's about prostate health. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let me say this about prostate health.
Wait. I want to pause right there for one moment. Muhammad, listen, I know this is your truth. This is your life. This is so much to digest and to process.
I ain't finished yet.
I know. No. I know. But we're going to take, listen. Oh my Lord. I'm listening to you. I'm still stuck on there being 12 men in your family that were diagnosed.
Yes.
9 of whom are no longer with us.
Yes.
And you just share. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm having a moment over here trying to digest the information that you're sharing. But I'm appreciative to it because I believe we should be transparent. We need to know. We definitely need to know. It's time for us to take just a short commercial break. Family. Jesus. Thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you again, because everything that you are sharing is hitting me hard. It's hitting me hard. And I know it's hitting some of our male family members harder. So I'm thanking the both of you really, really. With every fiber of my being.
But you know what, Carol? Because it's the women in our lives to get the men to go to the doctor. Men don't go. So you have a lot of relatives. So now you know the story, you'll be pushing your relatives to get checked.
I sure will. You listen, I sure will. Family, listen, it's time for us to take a short commercial break, but stay with us because we have so much more to talk about when we come back. Stay with us.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Love and Life.
So, Uncle Junior, you were telling us of the day of when you met. Would you mind telling us that story?
This was back in 1966. I arrived early, and I was sitting there when Mel and two of her friends walked in. She looked at me, and she smiled, and to the day, she don't know why she smiled at me. And then she came walking across the floor towards me, and I was hooked, or she was stepping. And her father came in, and I could see the resemblance. So I asked him, do you mind if I dance with your sister? He said, that's not my sister, that's my daughter. Don't ask me, ask her. So I did, and we danced. And she told me, she said, if you hold me a little closer, I can follow you better. And I was hooked already. And I asked her for her phone number. And when I went home, I wrote her a letter telling her I was going to marry her.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Only 1 in 5 people with disabilities, including those with autism, are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do?
Okay, try me.
What about a programmer?
That is a job for someone with autism.
What about a teacher?
That is a job for someone with autism.
Oh, how about a healthcare worker?
Yes, those are all jobs for someone with autism. The truth is, qualified people with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas and beliefs. Businesses value diversity, but sometimes don't recognize the unique strengths and abilities of the autism community. Introducing WIN, the Workplace Inclusion Now program by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
Ooh, what about a ranch hand?
Yeah! Sure, that's a job for someone with autism too. To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win. That's autismspeaks.org/win.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Word's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent job openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Public Health Management Corporation is hiring for several exciting roles, including youth case managers, a behavioral health coordinator, and a part-time youth ally. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative. Brought to you by Word Radio. Progressive Black Talk Media.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Or baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia, streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Family, welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We're having, like I shared earlier, an unapologetic conversation, an honest and open and quite honestly, a transparent conversation about prostate cancer. I am going to defer to you gentlemen so that I don't talk too much with this hour that we have left. Mohammed, if you wouldn't mind continuing sharing with us.
Yeah, so I was saying earlier about how throughout my whole police career, in every phase of my police career, there were men of color who had prostate cancer. Give you an example, I'm not going to name names, but when I was on the mayor's detail for Mayor John Street, I was younger. There was a gentleman he was a detective on the detail. So I started to keep everything to myself. I talked to the men, my brothers, my white and black brothers, and told them they should get themselves checked. Out of that conversation, one of the males, Afro-American brothers, came to me and said, Muhammad, I have prostate cancer. I'm going to share at the end of my talk about a book. I bought this book for him. I'll say it now. It's called it's called Guide to Surviving Prostate Cancer by Dr. Patrick Walsh, W-A-L-S-H. It's not just about prostate cancer. It's the best. Matter of fact, I have the book right here. It says here, the ultimate book on the #1 men's disease in the world should be in every man's house. I'm telling you, as a result of my family, what happened to my family, and when I tell you about my friends, people I personally know, every black male should have this book in their library. You read it, pass it on. It's going to help save somebody's life, and it gives you knowledge of what the prostate gland is. And I'll talk to you about that right now. So, give you an example. So now, the prostate gland, like I said, as we get older, it gets larger. When you start having prostate issues, it's like when you water your car, your lawn, it's supposed to be a full force of water, right? So what happens when you put a kink into the hose? A little bit of water comes out. That's what happens when you have an enlargement, inflammation, benign tumor, or cancerous tumor. Sometimes a cancerous tumor is silent because it's between the pelvis and your rectum, and it is silent. Like on my uncles, when they found out about it, it was full blown because they had no symptoms, right? So here's the thing about the prostate gland. The prostate is a Greek word meaning the protector. So what it does when a man has a relationship and releases himself ejaculation, that prostate gland cleans it out. We're talking real facts here. I ain't sugarcoating nothing, okay? When couples will have a relationship, when the man ejaculates, that's cleaning his system out. This is real rap. I can't sugarcoat it, right? I can't sugarcoat it. It's real. So it's important that for couples, I'm just dealing right now, I'll just mention married couples. I'm not getting into anything else. But it's important for women to know that it's important for example, for the man, for example, sometimes, woman gets mad and like she denies you for like 6 months. That's not cool. That's not cool. It backs up into her system. That's not cool at all. I'm talking about something because when it backs up, like you go to urinate and the urine backs up into your tube, that's how men get urinary tract infections, right? So the same thing happens with the prostate gland. It has to be let out. It has to be let out. So another thing is it has to be empty. Yes, and eating blueberries, watermelon, tomato paste. Fiber, eating good. For us as people of color, our diet is why we get our diseases. And so people who are vegan, the benefit is in the earth. We know that as eating plant-based foods. That's the cure for a lot of things that happen. But because of us, our diets, this is why we get so many different cancers. Like African American men, women, they get breast cancer,
We get a lot,
cancer, stuff like that. So men get prostate cancer and other things. So
I have a question for you though. Did you or any of the men in your family have symptoms? If so, what kind of symptoms did you have?
Well, for me, I would frequent urination. So remember I said, Carol, how you go to lay down, you go urinate, and it trickles out, a little bit come out. It's not full. It doesn't come out like a full force, like a hose. It trickles, you lay back down, half an hour, you back up constantly. The same thing happens with people with diabetes, right? Diabetes is the same thing. The blood sugar is high, you start urinating, you get the sugar out of the system. So and this book has all this information about what the prostate gland is, the different tests, what the tests mean, the benign tumors, inflammation. It's all in this book from Dr. Patrick Walsh. So let me say this here. So what happens is that, now listen to this. I shared the story with a gentleman. I brought him this book, talked to him and his wife. Here's the best advice I gave him. If a person has any kind of cancer, I'm just talking about prostate cancer, you have to go to the best doctor, oncologist in that field if you have insurance. Some people have insurance, they have to do the best that they can. For those who have insurance, this is not nothing to play around with. You have to go to the very best, and you have to ask the crucial questions. What's your success rate? Like my friend, who I worked in marriage retail, he's Afro-American. He was younger than me at the time, older than me at the time. I didn't know his Gleason score was PSA levels. That was personal. But I went to him and gave him and his wife a copy of this book. I said, listen, I asked him a few questions. Who's your oncologist? It happened to be a woman, not because she's a woman, Carol. I said, what's her background?
Right.
Well, how many?
That's important.
Yeah,
that's with every physician.
Yes, but I don't want to. But I have to make sure I clarify that, because I don't want people to think that because I'm saying she's a woman that no, she. I'm not saying that. I'm saying your credentials, right? What's the success rate? How many years she's been doing this? So she wasn't doing that much. So I said to him, man, I said, listen, I have to be upfront with you. I says, I'm not telling you to go to. The guy I go to has 35 years experience, but you have to go to somebody and you pick who you want. Anyway, we worked together. 6 months later, he told me he had a different type of cancer because the prostate cancer spread, and he died. He died the next month.
Oh my Lord!
So listen to this, Carol. So here's a story. I got everybody on the cliff now. Now I'm gonna let you off the cliff. Throughout me telling my story, I went on radio shows, talking to men one-on-one, and every unit I worked. When I found out I had cancer, 2005, right? Carol, 80 men I personally know have prostate cancer. 80, not 80, not 880. And the other day, a friend of mine, we had business together on something, and I hadn't heard from him in a while. And I called him, and I said, "Man, what you ducking a brother?" He said, "No, I have some health issues." And I'm not gonna mention his name, but I found out, and he shared with me, and he told me he had prostate cancer, and this cancer is pretty serious. It's
aggressive.
But the thing is, when a person has cancer, any kind of cancer, the thing is they need a support system. They need a support system, because even family, spouse, and members, they mean the best, but sometimes a person has cancer, they don't want to talk.
They don't. Yeah,
they want to stay alone, but you don't want to get depressed, but they need space. They'll talk.
Muhammad, I want to ask you a question. I'm so sorry. So sorry to interject. I do also want Jeff to share his story, but I want to know about your journey, your recovery journey. Like, how have you managed and maintained for as long as you have?
Let me tell you something. It's only by the mercy of the Creator, Carol. And the thing about it is, the whole thing is, when you diagnose with any kind of cancer, it gives you a better perspective on life. Things you think that's important is not important. Family is important, being kind and gentle. And the thing about it, the reason why I'm doing this really is because I firmly believe that we're here to worship the Creator, to worship the Creator and serve humanity and doing good. So when you do good, it comes back to you. And it says if you save a life, it's like you save all of mankind. I
believe that too. I so believe that too. But what exactly did you do during your recovery journey? What was it that?
Okay. Here's what happens. I'll give you a real quick synopsis. So here's what happens.
Because I want Jeff to tell his story too.
Okay. I'm gonna end it up real quick. So here's what happens. So what happens is that after I decided to get operation, they say, example, if I want to have children, right? What happens is that they make you put a sperm sample in of a sperm sample, and they freeze it. So if you want to have children for virtual fertilization, so once they cut the vas deferens and the bladder neck, right? You won't you won't be able to have sperm produced when the male ejaculates. But here's the thing, and I learned this too. A male orgasm is mental. It's mental. So far as I'm just talking facts. It's mental.
Well, wait, I have a question though, because I'm looking to listen, because this hour goes by so quickly, and I want you to continue to tell your story, but I also want to know about your recovery. But I'm going to put that on hold for one moment. Well, no, I'm going to put that on hold really quickly because I want to allow Jeff the opportunity to share as well.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
No. Listen, Jeff, that's
no, it's fine. It's fine.
We're here talking. We are here talking.
Absolutely. So I have a testimony. I don't believe in accidents or coincidence. God puts people and situations in your life for a reason. So
absolutely.
The connection that Muhammad and I had from work spilled over into our retirements, and we happened to both join another venture. And before we got into that venture, he told me a story about his prostate situation, right?
Okay.
So, I listened to it, and it resonated with me because he was telling me some of the symptoms he was having, frequent urination, especially at night, and other symptoms and things that help trigger the prostate cancer growing, which is stress, number one, right? Poor diet. As long as Muhammad has known me, I pride myself on health and nutrition. I'm a pescatarian and plant-based diet person. I've always been into working out. Anybody who's known me know that I like to work out and I like to be my best me. So I'm very conscientious about my health. When he mentioned to me his experiences and how his family members had succumbed to prostate cancer and whatnot, I said, okay, it's time for me to really know what my numbers are. And every man, after you greet another brother, after you say hello or how are you, what are your numbers? What are your blood pressure numbers? What are your PSA numbers? If you have a high PSA, if you had a biopsy, what's your Gleason score? Okay, with your prostate situation as well. So back in the fall I would say it's before I got engaged or right after I got engaged in 2022. My biannual physical, because I go twice a year, every 6 months, right, to find out what my numbers are. Mainly my blood pressure, because I do have high blood pressure, but it's controlled. Diet, and my PSA, okay, and my A1C. I try to make sure, that I don't have diabetes. Thank God. But those are very important numbers that we should all, especially Black men, be very conscientious of. So, went to the doctor in 2022. Forgot what month it was. I think it was early in the year. Okay. Got some news that my PSA was kind of high. It was maybe 6.2. Okay, now Muhammad said anything above 4,
right,
you have to
is of concern.
Yes, ma'am. So he suggested that I go to a urologist. Went to a urologist here in Atlanta, and urologist says, "Listen, okay, your PSA number is 6.2. I want to do a biopsy." I said, "By all means, never had one before, but go for it." The worst pain, but that pain was worth it because he said maybe 0.3% of my prostate was cancerous. And he said, listen, I suggest that you go see an oncologist, which I did. Saw the oncologist. The oncologist looked at everything, looked at the results of the biopsy. She also looked at the my PSA numbers and my Gleason score, which was low, but still it was concerning. So
Okay.
she said, okay, now we're going to give her some time. Now you have a choice, either to have radiation, have chemo, or prostatectomy. Well, I'll try to keep all my body parts, right? So, the last thing we want to do is cut anything out of you that's supposed to be in there. Okay. There's some adverse reactions that you may have. They talk about that when you go to see the oncologist.
Right.
There's also some adverse reactions for chemotherapy as well. Because even though it's targeted toward the cancer,
Right.
but you never know. Anything foreign to your body,
Yeah.
there's some concern. So, thank God, she put me on a wait and see, watch and see, which is a regimen where if your PSA drops, because I was on medicine for my prostate, and over a certain amount of months, 6 months, I guess, I went back and got my numbers checked. They dropped.
Oh, wow.
To within normal limits, but still doesn't get me out of the dark. I just have to keep monitoring, and make sure that my PSA levels and the DRE, which is the latex finger, to feel the stiffness or the firmness. Because the prostate is supposed to give a little bit. It shouldn't be rock hard. It's kind of past the point of no return. Go ahead, Carol.
So, Jeff, during your wait and see period,
yes, ma'am.
What were you doing differently? What were you doing?
Well, reducing stress.
Okay.
Strengthen my support system. Talk to other men about the importance of because.
Well, no, I mean physically. What were you? I'm sorry. I meant like physically. What were you during this wait and see period? Did you do anything to? Did you do anything to that helped your numbers to decrease?
Yes, decrease stress.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no. Let me tell you how real I know that to be, because
Yes,
we
ma'am.
talk about it all the time in this space. We
Yes,
talk about how impactful stress is on our bodies.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
listen. We talk about it all the time, right here. Every time we talk about any type of ailment, anything, we always acknowledge and recognize, just how big a part stress plays in every part of our lives.
I do want to interject. Prior to my PSA numbers going high, hormone therapy. I tried it because testosterone is something, like Muhammad was saying, it feeds feeds on it, right? So, I went to a wellness center, right? Because as we get older, sometimes you become lethargic. You don't have the energy that you used to have to get up and go. And, things suffer from that. So I was introduced to TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy, blah, 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 right? And the same thing with women. You have estrogen replacement therapy as well. Well, estrogen also feeds cancers in the women, so there has to be a natural balance in our bodies. So what I do, I believe in supplementation. I believe in getting a proper diet. Supplementation such as fish oils, black seed oils, sea moss. Those things God put on earth, So I believe that we can holistically reduce those cancers within our body as well. I'm not here to advertise for any particular one, but you have to find. I would suggest people go to a herbologist or nutritionist or something like that to find out what works for their body, because everybody's different. So, with the implementation of supplements, my diet, exercise, reducing that stress, and just trying to live a holistic life.
Yeah. I'm curious to know, Muhammad, did you change your diet? Or?
Yes, I changed my diet somewhat, but I tell you what I found. I found that being active, being busy, relieves stress, because in those quiet moments that you're by yourself and you have cancer, it gets to you. You may get depressed, and you shouldn't be, but you should enjoy your life doing things you love to do. You know, so I really, I'm not to the extent that with Jeff. Jeff has always been that way, so I didn't do those things, but I ate a little better, but it wasn't like I ate a little better, but I just relieved the stress.
I really want to know, about your journey, about how you've maintained, how you've sustained, how you've managed to be in the space in which you're in, a healthy space in which you are, because I'm telling you, when you shared, and I have to keep repeating this because the number is so high, and because it's so shocking when you say that there were 12 men in your family, not 12 men that I know, 12 men that I met, 12 men that I heard of, 12 men with whom you share a bloodline that were diagnosed with prostate cancer. And you also shared that 9 of them are no longer here.
Yes.
I'm just, I'm blown away by that fact alone. So, and I'm sure our family members want to know as well what you've been doing, how you've maintained, how you've been able to sustain. But we do have to go to a commercial break in just a moment. Family, I do see that you are commenting, and I was making time for the fellas to share their stories tonight. So I just want to make you aware that I do see, because I always tell you that if I see your comments, I will do my best to share them, to read them aloud. But I was making time for the gentlemen to share their the stories, because I feel this conversation is so important. It's so important. We're going to take just a short commercial break, but stay with us because we are coming right back.
Okay, remember what I told you. Be your own boss, love yourself, level up.
Level Up is back. In celebration of Women's History Month, Level Up returns highlighting Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in our communities. In partnership with WVON Chicago and KJLH Los Angeles, this signature initiative gives you the opportunity to nominate your business or one of your favorite Black woman-owned businesses a chance to become one of 5 finalists who will be featured in a Shark Tank-like style pitch party, where the winner will be selected by a panel of independent corporate sector judges and will receive a grand prize valued at $5,000. Get ready. The submission process opens soon. Stay tuned to WURD for more exciting details. Level Up 2024 is brought to you by Comcast, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, and Bank of America.
Level up, level up, level up.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe. It is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local. I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Finish your high school diploma for you and your family. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
I think I know what love is.
Family, welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Muhammad Abdur-Rahim and with Jeff Mason. The conversation tonight is focused and centered around prostate cancer. I do want to share just a few comments that were made by some of our family members. Ms. Viola, she shares her cancer came from stress. She has maintained that. She shared that with us a while ago. And Malcolm shares the same here. But he does share that so far they caught his early. Praise God for that. Praise God for that. Miss Rosalind, our beloved Miss Rosalind and our beloved Joanne, I want you to know that I saw your comments as well. And family, please keep their health in your prayers, their health and well-being. Well, we should all be praying for each other. But we're going to add a special prayer for your health and well-being to the conversation. Jeff has shared that he wants to talk a little more about stress. We can't stress how much stress contributes in a negative way to our well-being. But Jeff, go right ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. When you think of police work, you think of just fighting crime 24/7, and actually years of it going from 0 to 100. Could you imagine just riding in the car? Then all of a sudden you see a crime in progress, and then all of a sudden your stress hormones, everything just rush into your body because you have to take action. You have to either save a life or prevent, one from being taken. But anyway, years of that, especially working in the units that Muhammad worked in. I think he had a break working at the range and working for the mayor's detail. But mayor's detail is a pretty stressful job as well because you're always on guard, right? You're trying to protect the life of the mayor. But I worked narcotics. I worked undercover and uniform narcotics. And imagine just, buying drugs and having guns pulled in your face. And, most drug dealers and or people that are involved in the drug game are armed, or they have needles on them, so you have to worry about that, being stuck by a needle or being, injured. One shooting I had involved when I was in narcotics, it was in North Philadelphia off of 22nd and Cecil B. Moore. And it was deemed an accidental discharge, but there was a person that I pursued, and while frisking him against the wall, he turned around and he grabs my gun.
Oh, wow.
So, it discharged, he got shot, but it was deemed an accidental discharge. But, something like that, you never forget.
Of course you don't.
It could have been you or him. And then Highway Patrol, of course, we had a dual assignment. We had motor enforcement and we also had tactical enforcement. If you ever noticed the boot cops, how they would come into the high crime areas of the city. And yes, ma'am.
No, I just thought of something. As you're talking about stress, and I'm sorry to have interjected, but I'm thinking we're talking to the two of you who have a history in law enforcement. And I'm curious to know if the majority of the men that you both know, outside of those with whom you're related, were they too, well, those that have prostate cancer, were they too in law enforcement or in high stress level fields?
I know a lot of people that were in law enforcement that had prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people, some who have had the surgery, as Muhammad has had, and some are not here anymore, because they didn't catch it in time, So stress is a very key component, that we really have to mind. There's some good stresses. There's some bad stresses where if it's under control or if it's not alleviated through physical fitness, which I'm a proponent of, and diet, and rest, proper rest, We had the worst schedule in the history of man. And law enforcement because we would work a rotating shift against the clock.
Yes, I know. I don't know how just how. I don't know how.
Right. It would be last out, which is 12 to 8, then day work, and then 4 to 12. So it's against the clock and you're going against your circadian rhythm, your sleep pattern, and do you really get enough rest? They would change. I forgot how often they changed, Muhammad. Was it every 2 weeks or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, Jeff. Every 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, that never made sense. I mean, I'm sure they had their reasons, but that never made sense to me because your body never had the opportunity to get into a rhythm where you were allowed to really, really, really rest well.
That's correct. That's correct.
So that I didn't understand. Well, I do want to, because we have so little time left. And Jeff, I'm so sorry, but I really want to. I want to find out. So, did you mention, Muhammad, you had surgery?
Yes.
What type of surgery did you have?
They removed the prostate. And one of the things I wanted to share, because it's something that men, if they wind up having, deciding to get the prostate taken out, this is things that they need to know. One is they'll cut your bladder neck, they'll cut your vas deferens and your bladder neck. And after they do the operation, they'll give you a catheter for about a week. When they take that catheter out, you cannot control your urine. Your urine will fall to the floor. So what happens is a natural processes where you have to wear the pins. It's the natural. I'm just telling all the men, don't let it hit you in the psyche. It's only a process. It will be temporary. And you know, Carol, and women, when they have children, they tell you to do Kegel exercises. So for the men, they tell you when you go to urinate after you have this operation, you have to build up your sphincter muscle. The sphincter muscle means it opens up the hose to let the urine come out, and then you close it. So a man would, if he's going to the bathroom, he would tighten up his butt cheeks. It would cut the urine flow, and then he would relax, and the urine come out. Then he tighten up. So he's doing Kegel exercises, so it'll strengthen it up. Because what happens is after the surgery, you don't want to have incontinence. Incontinence means, and it might be if you have a little laugh and you get a little trickle, but the pad protects you from having urine, whatever case may be. But the thing is, you have to, this doctor here, Dr. Patrick Walsh, is one of the best in the world. And from Johns Hopkins. What he did was he studied thousands of operations. He operated on kings all over the people, all over the world wanted him. I tried to go to him, but I couldn't wait for 3 or 4 weeks to get to him. So anyway, he studied his hand motions and thousands of operations. How can I save the male's nerve endings so a man can have a natural response, have a natural reaction, erection, able to perform? Because, and even a sad thing, Carol, many women, wives, leave their husbands when they have operation. And so I understand how important sex is in relationships. I understand that, but would you want to rather have your husband or your significant other alive to be, and father your children, whatever case may be, rather? There's other things that you can do to stimulate so far as having relationships. Not everything's not about sex, and I'm sharing this because it's a point. I found this. I'm sharing this because it's a point. Because men don't talk about this. I'm telling you straight up truth. When men think that after the operation they'll never be able to have an orgasm, yes, you will, because it's mental. Instead of it's physical, like usually you're visual, you see something, you might get excited, case may be. Normally, it's a physical thing, and you have the same reaction, the same thing that happens when you normally have sex, except nothing comes out. It's dry. It's the same reaction. So I'm saying this to all men so they know, and I'm saying it to the women in their lives who know. So don't punish the man because he's trying to save his life. You know what I mean? And also too, when a man has the operation, his testosterone levels will go down. So it means he won't have a strong sex drive. These are things. But the thing I want to say to him, if I say one thing to you, this book here by Dr. Patrick Walsh, Women Survive. How's a guide to surviving prostate cancer? It's $20 now for $20 now from Amazon. The women, you want to get this book for your men in your family that you love. Men, you want to get it. Pass on to help somebody in your life. And that's one thing. Last thing is that I worked for 2 supervisors. One was the chief inspector at Homeland Security Counterterrorism.
I want to ask you a question about something that you just shared.
Okay.
The experience that you shared, was that your experience, or is that typical of men who after the procedure? Or is that like
men not going to talk about it because they're not going to share? I'm straight up. You got to know this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's going to share.
And as it pertains to their orgasms as well. As it pertains to their orgasms as well.
You'll still can reach an orgasm, except it'll because it's mental. You'll get that same feeling that you had before you had the operation, except it'll be dry. That's the only difference. Because it's mental. Orgasm is mental.
And I
It's
get
mental.
that. I have that understanding. I wanted to make sure, just in case some of
I'm
our
talking to the men.
male
To
family
protect them.
members, just
Yeah.
in case some of our male family members said, well, is he speaking about his experience, or is that, typical?
This
Is
is
that what
typical. This
typically happens?
is what happens.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
where it depends, where it depends. I'm giving you,
Temporarily.
I'm getting temporarily, but men get stuck and they go into a mental depression because I got to where it depends. No, you do behavior exercises, you're going to be okay. So last thing is that I worked with a chief inspector for Homeland Security Counterterrorism. He was Caucasian, he passed, and I worked for African American chief in Homeland Security Counterterrorism, he passed, and another person I worked in marriage until wound up having prostate cancer. But I forgot to tell you too, when I left, what I do now too, Carol, is that after I retired for like 5 years, I could do anything. I started doing nurse escorts for healthcare workers to go into bad areas or homes to treat people to go to bad areas. So it was a group of us who are former law enforcement officers you're hired to go inside and protect them. And also too, I do a couple of security things. And also I've got to tell you, when Jeff Brown was running, he was a mayoral candidate, I was in security from November to he lost in the primary. So I was with him every day. So he's an amazing human being. So I want to mention that too.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to know what the two of you do now as a stress reliever. How do you manage your stress now? Before you answer that question, though, I do want to share that Cheryl, one of our beloveds, Cheryl Hicks Lucas, that is, she shares, thank you for broaching this issue. I lost my brother because of prostate cancer. My cousin had it and beat it. Tried to help my brother, and my brother did not listen. My brother's last words were, I wish I would have listened. My brother was also a retired homicide lieutenant.
Well, oh my goodness, I probably know him.
You do?
Jeff, I probably know him.
Yeah, Hicks.
He probably was the same. Jeff, remember the guy that had 15, 20 years with the cowboy hats?
Yeah.
And he was a big-time hunter?
Yeah,
Maybe. And I do want to share that, family, for those of you who are joining us on our socials, I was asked for the name of the book. The book is titled The Guide to Surviving Prostate Cancer. The author is Patrick Walsh. Was that incorrect?
Yeah, Dr. Patrick Walsh, Guide to Surviving Prostate Cancer. But it's not just about cancer. It's about the prostate gland, the education of men and women and their families about what that is. And it should be in everybody's home.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I had the title of the book correct. So, family, for those of you who are joining us on our socials and those of you who are listening who want to say, look, let me look on the socials so I can see the name, this title of the book. The title is The Guide to Surviving Prostate Cancer, and the author is Dr. Patrick Walsh. I did put that in the chat. For those of you who are joining on my actual, I have 2 pages, but you'll see it on one of them. You'll see it. Fellas, there's so much information that you two have been sharing with us tonight. I can't thank you enough, quite honestly, for your honesty, for your transparency, for your vulnerability, and for sharing. We're not going anywhere just yet. We're going to a commercial break in a moment, but I just wanted to get this out because I think that it's such an important conversation. And just everything that you've been sharing tonight, it's hitting me hard. So I know that it's hitting a lot of our family members hard. I'm curious to know, Muhammad, you shared with us that your numbers had tripled. And in what amount of time had your numbers tripled between the time that they were normal?
I remember I was going every 6 months, and then I got cocky. How men get, they say, I'm okay, I ain't got to go back. We all do that. And then I didn't go for 12 months, and then I went back for 12 months. It went from 0.4 to 1.2. But my urologist could have said, Muhammad, you're good, see you next year. But then he said, let me get a biopsy. We gave me a biopsy. It came back prostate cancer. And then
wait. What was your elevated number? You said 1.2?
1.2, which is way below the radar.
Right.
So let me tell you, Carol, let me tell you this is very important. In Dr. Pat Walsh's book, he wrote in 2001, he said 15% of the men who have normal PSA levels will have prostate cancer. Because what happens is when men have enlargement inflammation, they give them things to shrink the prostate. They give them things to get rid of the inflammation, and it doesn't work. And then they do surgery. And then 15% of these men, they find they have prostate cancer. So he wrote the book in 2001. I was diagnosed in 2005. That's my story.
Well, what was it that prompted your doctor that said that he's, that made him urge you to have a biopsy?
Only God. Only God, Carol. That's a mercy of the Creator. The mercy. Because any other doctor wouldn't have done that.
Right.
They
Because
said,
your number was not within it.
It wasn't 4. And remember now, it was 1.2. Had he said come back next year, when I finally operated on me, I was already stage 2 cancer then. So this is why for men, they need to write they need to get a baseline and watch their numbers. Don't no longer go to a urologist and they say you're good, come see you next year. Don't do that. Document everything about your health.
Right. So it's important to oh my goodness, to investigate even if your number moves just a little.
Oh, one last thing, Carol. I forgot about this. If you ride a bike the day before you take a PSA, the level's going to be high. If you have a relationship the day before you get a PSA, the level's going to be high.
You mean if you have sex? If you have sex the day before you, okay. So if you have sex the day before you take a PSA test, and if you ride a bicycle,
it'll be high.
Okay, I want to talk about that after this commercial break. Family, stay with us because I want to know the answer to that question. We'll be right back.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille iJoy. Make voting a family affair. Include the children. Help them to care. We register. We vote. We must. I register. I vote. I must. Yes, indeed, everybody. Voting is a family affair. We gather together, no matter the weather. Stand tall now. Don't you waste your vote. Some folks, they might not be woke, but not you, because voting is a family affair. This is Dr. Lucille iJoy. Register, register, register. We vote, we must. Come on now. Register, we vote, we must. This is Dr. Lucille iJoy.
I need some extra money. Do I qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit?
Use the EITC Assistant tool. With just a little information, this tool helps you calculate eligibility with ease and accuracy. Get an estimate of how much credit you qualify for, and get a printout of your results before you prepare your return or visit your tax preparer. To use the EITC Assistant tool and see if you're eligible to claim the credit, visit irs.gov/EITC.
Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. It's the shop tab on wordradio.com. You can look good and show the world that you're all about Black Talk Media.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Welcome back, family. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. In this remaining time, first of all, I had a question before we went to commercial break. So in this remaining amount of time, I want to know first, for starters, why is it that having sex and or riding a bicycle, specifically those two things, that will elevate your PSA numbers?
I'm not a doctor, Carl. I have no idea. I'm just giving information out. I'm just giving information out from the research I've done. It's in the book. I mean, so you can do your own research, but this is what it does. It tell you learn this stuff. So I'm just sharing. Well, I'm sharing is caring. So I'm sharing what I've learned.
Absolutely.
Because no one told me these things. I did my research, and men don't talk about none of this stuff. Right. So they need to understand this, and the women who love them need to understand too, because they put a lot of pressure on the men, and a lot of men don't want to get treated because of that, because of the situation about the sexual relationship. And a lot of men in the past, men of color, have died because they rather have a sexual relationship, and they didn't know that the prostate cancer feeds off of the sex hormone testosterone.
Right. So now, what you said, it was in this book that you read that information, was it? Or was it elsewhere?
I researched it, and I think it's also in the book too. Because I haven't read this book in a while. This is since 2005, Carol. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's just like the top of my head. This is like I know all this stuff from the top of my head because I experienced it. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying your numbers will be high. Man numbers will be high if your relationship the day before he goes a PSA. If he rides a bike, it will be high. So these are things I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so like I said, I don't know.
Right. No. Listen, I'm grateful for you sharing everything that you've shared with us tonight. Jeff, I don't know that I asked you outside of you sharing with us that you could identify with the symptom that Muhammad shared with us about the frequent urination. Did you have other symptoms?
Well, that's a main one because as men get older, our prostate enlarges. It's called HBP, hyper something prostate. But that right there, like he was saying, it because your prostate goes around your vas deferens and your urethra, and it kind of kinks. It puts a kink in your flow.
Okay.
So when you think you're urinating and emptying your bladder, you're not. You're just letting out a portion of what's in your bladder. You're not getting a full release of urine. So, with that growth of your prostate, the urologist will give you something to help shrink it and also something to help decrease the urination. But still, you have to keep an eye on your prostate and that's why I got the biopsy. I was stage 1 cancer.
Wow.
And
wow.
But when I went back to get my recheck PSA, because of things that I incorporated, which is physical fitness, release of stress, and you were asking what things do I continue to do today? I travel, I go to jazz concerts, I live like my best life, because I'm not bound to the patrol car. Or responding to people for help or anything like that. So being on the civilian side of law enforcement, it's a lot better, I live life, being married helps as well. It could also raise your stress level depending on what type of relationship you're in. But, for the most part, it suits me well, especially at this stage of life. I'm being transparent, so. But as far as having someone, in your support system to care about you and to go through this journey with you is a blessing, and it also is a blessing, and it's in the Bible that when men can get together and talk, it's a blessing. I'm grateful for guys like Muhammad. And other males who share their experiences with their journeys and what to do and what not to do, because we really don't do that often enough, and that's where we lose a lot of good brothers, but as far as this situation is a very serious situation that needs to have light shed on it. I'm glad Muhammad did it for me. And I, in turn, did it for others, because I think it's very important, that we pass this information on to our brothers.
Absolutely.
And it's not just black men; it's all men.
All men. We're all brothers. We're all from one family.
Right. Black and white brothers. So it's it's just something that we all should be aware of and cognizant of.
Like you both said, you're women. We need to know too.
Yes.
Yep.
We need to know. We absolutely need to know. I say it all the time. Communication is key. I am a firm believer that just something from everybody's story can help someone else. I want to ask you individually what you will share with us before we close tonight.
I would say, if Muhammad will allow me, for men, know your numbers. No, I can't stress that enough. Know your numbers. Get checked out biannually every 6 months. Once you get your numbers, see, you need a gauge to go by. You can't just go by how you feel because your body will lie to you. And your body is amazing because it adjusts to whatever condition it's in. It will find a way to make you feel good in spite of. Once you start feeling bad, it's kind of, late in the process. So I think once you go to the doctor, it's like checking the air in your tires, like checking the oil in your car. You want to know exactly what's going on inside within you. So, that's one thing that I would, as a takeaway for the listening audience, know your numbers.
Know your numbers.
Ladies of those men, make sure you get on those men to find out what their numbers are. Women,
women are. Well, we're your supporters. We are. Right. Muhammad, what will you leave with us?
I think Jeff said it all, but just saying, get your PSA blood test, and brothers, don't be afraid of digital rectal exam. This examination along with the PSA can help save your life. And I've watched my uncles die terrible, painful deaths. If only they had the knowledge that someone had shared with them early on in life to get checked. And I know that it took a long time for my brother and my last surviving uncle to get checked. Even after all the circumstances, even about me, I used to get on them. It took them a while. So that's what I want to leave you with. And Carol, what I do too, and to keep busy, stress you asked me was, I train people in gun safety and firearms. That's what I do, and that gives me peace, and it gives me it's very relaxing for me.
Where do you in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Where do you do that?
You mentioned my name. Anybody who knows me knows what I do. From my experience, I go to gun ranges all the way. I go to the one in Yaden, GPS gun range. But I train people personally. Personally, I train them, I'll send you information. I'll send my information to you. You can share it. I want to say this one last thing. What's important is that I want to say to anyone out there, I'm gonna leave something. I've always been this way. I'm gonna leave you my phone number. If anyone that you know that has a problem with their prostate or prostate, not to be prostate cancer, I'm a support system. My number is 215-778-3913. Feel free. My phone's on 24 hours a day, because you never know when someone's going through, and I'm there for. I'm support system. It's very crucial.
Did you hear that, fellas? I want to make sure, fellas. I'm sorry, Muhammad. I did not mean to cut you off.
Okay. It's okay.
Not intentionally. I want to make sure, fellas. Muhammad shared that. You have a support system, and he wants you to know that, and that you can call him. You can reach out to him at 215-778-3913.
Yep. Because a lot of men won't say anything. They'll ask you questions privately. They don't want to talk, publicly. So they'll call and I'll discuss it with them privately. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Let me tell you on behalf of everybody, I just want to say thank you to the both of you so much. Thank you, Muhammad, for planting the seed, making the initial contact, and for following through for the both of you for following through. But I mean, it means so much to me that you two were so transparent tonight, because you both of you shared things that I never would have been able to share. And
yes, you could. Yes, you could. You're from South Philly.
SPZ. That's right. But I'm telling you, I mean it with every fiber of my being. I say it all the time. I love you, Black man. I do. Yeah. And I so appreciate the two of you coming to share with us, your experiences, your knowledge, and whether you even realize it or not, this is support on a whole nother level. When you share it,
singer, Carol, you know that, right?
Say this again.
You're my favorite singer, Carol. I go to your shows.
Thank you.
The last show we did on I Talk, you are amazing. I appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you both. Thank you, family. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Family, just praising God, from whom all blessings flow.
Yes.
As we wrap tonight's episode, just thank you, family, for your continued support of Love and Life. Thank you to our guests for sharing their time, their energy, their attention, your information, your spirit, and your space with all of us. It is so appreciated, and we look forward to you coming back so we can continue the conversation, because this is the conversation that needs to continue. We need to
Yes.
look out for one another. Y'all know I
Yes.
say it all the time. We
Yeah.
need to look out for one another. Thank you to each and every one of you that contributed to the conversations as well. So thank you. Special thanks to the entire WURD family, especially Niall and Nick, for all that you do. You know I couldn't do it without you. Happy birthday once again to all of our love bugs. Family, it's coming. You know I'm going to say it because I tell you all the time and because I mean it. We are all in this together. So be good to you, but please be good to those
Me too.
around you.
Yes.
Please, please remember that I love you, but God loves you so much more. Have a great rest of your night and a great evening. And be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern time for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a great night, everybody. We love you. You hear me? We love you.
Thank you.
We love you.